believe in change and we're prepared for it with new techniques and new approaches. And as for our part, we feel that you're the best pieces of manpower available in this whole region.
Let it go out there today, baby.
3, 2, 1.
And once again, our mighty ship is back on course.
Welcome to the Sports Talk with Devan Wade Podcast.
Mama, there goes that man.
You the man. Ladies and gentlemen, star of our show.
Welcome to another edition of the Sports Talk with Devan Wade Podcast. Devan Wade with you. Our guy, Reggie Brown, right there. He is along for the ride, part of the special teams unit. And, of course, you're talking about a former NFL wide receiver and a former all-SWAC wide receiver. But more importantly, he's just a tremendous sports commentator. So he has a lot to say about a lot. So there's
Let's
that.
go.
So welcome aboard. I want to remind folks, we want engagement, right? We want you first and foremost to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's the newest forum in which we come to you guys. So it's at the Devan Wade. That's the channel. Like and subscribe to the channel. We need more of those subscriptions. We need people to click that button and subscribe. So that's really, really important. Also, if you want to interact, and we want this to be an interactive experience, you can always call 24 hours a day, 832-941-6614. That's 832-941-6614. And the Sports Talk with Devan Wade group on Facebook. I've been posting a lot. Other people have been posting quite a bit. It's a place where we all go to argue and have fun and share information and cool clips. And so we want you to be a part of it that way. So this
Y'all
time
get a little feisty, huh?
Not so bad. It's family friendly. It's not so bad. I think it could get that way.
I think it's feisty in a good way. You see people with strong opinions and they share their opinions. And I love it when you can have a sports conversation or even a political conversation and nobody walks away mad and upset and acting crazy. We're just talking about sports or whatever.
Right. And because I think there's a room for a lot of interesting conversations as you delve into these things. But a lot going on in the world of sports. By the way, with Pigskin Pick'em, you forgot to pick last week. I try to remind you too. I try to text you, say, hey man, get in, because you're down there at the bottom. You in the 30s, right? Or the high 20s or low 20s.
Well,
what happened?
Obviously on this channel, we don't make any excuses. And so I'm going to just have to take my L as it is, but I'll be back.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, that is fun because I'm getting a trophy for the first time. I'm going to get a trophy made for that because we've been doing it for several years. So,
yes.
And I'm glad you're aboard this year. So a lot going on in the NFL. I'm going to start with home. Houston Texans, man. What a weird game in that, you have you +4 in takeaways, but it's just a woeful performance by the offense. And I don't know if there's much you can do to fix this. I think you look at C.J. Stroud, he was pressured 31.5% on dropbacks. He was sacked 3 times, hit 7 times, bunch of hurries. He just doesn't look comfortable. He had, 13 off-target throws, which that means it was on him.
Stat. I mean, that's a crazy stat. 13 off-target throws is
so that simply means what does it mean exactly? I mean, is it just because and this is my take, and I'll get your take. Is he just not comfortable in the pocket and that timing is off? And when that timing is off, you rush it and you don't take time to go through your basic mechanics. What do you see with those really bad off throws?
Well, I see all of that. I see you don't trust your offensive line, so you're trying to get the ball out your hand as quick as possible. I'm not sure if the plays that they're calling, I'm not sure about what they're trying to do. Again, we keep talking about this week in and week out that they don't have an identity, and it just looks like they're drawing plays up every week and hoping that some of them stick. And then, with Nico, not being at a high level and the other receivers still trying to get to know them, all of it just makes for a bad offense And when there's a bad offense, it usually makes for a bad looking quarterback. And that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, yeah. I thought this was a make or break year for him in a lot of ways. Not make or break, but it sort of will dictate his immediate future in this league. Because now, I mean, obviously now we starting to see guys who are almost done bounce back and have comebacks. I'm talking about like Sam Darnold. I'm
Yes.
talking about Baker Mayfield, guys that kind of bounced around, journeyman, but now they found a home and they're doing the thing. Geno Smith, who took forever to get going and got the big contract, struggling a little bit in Las Vegas. But, so I thought this was an important year, but what can you really tell about him with the way the offensive line is playing?
Well, typically at this point, you want to be able to give the quarterback that you drafted in the first round, you want to be able to go ahead and extend him and lock him up, right? And I don't know if the Texans can do that based on his performance. You don't know if this is the $200 million guy at this point because there's so many questions. And, one of the things that you look at is it him or is it everything that's going on around him? And I'm not even sure if you can answer that question. I mean, you look at the pieces around him, you look at the offense and all of the changes, and the easy answer is to say it's everything around him. But then he has not looked good in the last 2 years, really. It really hadn't looked like that guy since his rookie year.
Yeah, and I think you talk about the identity. They want to run the ball. They can't.
Yes.
They just can't. Woody Marks, they thought would give him a spark because he did. He ran against Baltimore and he ran against Tennessee, but mostly Baltimore. He got off, and I mean that was just a debacle because you're playing against a semi-pro team almost. I mean, how decimated they were defensively, but I think they want to run and play off of that. Now you have Collins, who is concussed
Yeah.
and don't know if he'll be available. You got San Francisco coming in. You normally would say, okay, they got 3 out of 4 at home. That's a good deal. Well, 2 of the 4, Baltimore and Buffalo. I mean, so bottom line, are they done? I mean, are they done? Because, we are reactive. People are reactive when it comes to the NFL. You lose 1 or 2 games and people think it's over. And now you start to see teams like Kansas City really back in. You start to see the Cowboys play better football. Is it over for the Houston Texans?
Well, I still think there's a lot of season left, but you also got to right that ship and right it quick. You lose two or three of this, that really puts you behind the 8 ball. You start talking about wild card and all of those things, and who knows how that'll play out. So they really got to right the ship and right it quick. What do you think about Miko's performance as a head coach and how he's been doing?
I think D'Amico is having some issues with the old offensive coordinator. Now, whose call was it to move on and fire Slovic last season? Who it was? Was it his call? Was it Nick Casario? Was it the right move? Was it the right move, but you didn't replace him with the right guy? Can this guy get it together? I mean, there are a lot of questions. Did they do enough to address the offensive line? Laramie Tunsil walked. I think Shaq Mason was another one. Did you do enough? I think the Ursery kid is going to be nice long term.
Yeah.
But collectively, man, they ain't it. So
Yeah,
I think
you just don't see the talent on a championship football team from the Texans. You see some
well, I think
pieces.
I think you can see.
I mean, from defensively, you see, a really, really solid defense, but collectively, you got to have players that can make plays. And I'm talking about offensive linemen when I say that. I'm talking about running backs. I'm talking about receivers. And I just don't see that on offense. And then they continue to put the defense in bad positions.
Yeah, they're the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL going into this one. And it's hard to be that when you have such a woeful offense.
Yeah.
Now, again, you had 2 games with Tennessee and Baltimore where you get well quick. And, you talk about a rookie quarterback in Cam Ward, and then you look at Baltimore without Lamar Jackson. It's not quite, it's not the same, So your numbers can be skewed in that way. But, but what they did, they had 4 takeaways. I mean, I thought Seattle, as excited as I was for that defensive performance by Seattle, for Darnold to just keep them in the game and the Cooper Kupp wide receiver pass for an interception, it did not give me, as much as they dominated that game, that was a game until the very end. And it's just unbelievable that Seattle kept them in the game the way they were dominating it almost from start to late in that game. The takeaways just kept them in the game. But I can tell you this, and Jigba is the truth. The
Yes,
truth.
he is. Yes,
So
he is.
the truth with an F. Now so you were a wide receiver, man. Talk about that dude. Just
Well,
from a technical standpoint, what do you see?
I mean, he has it all though. Speed, agility. You look at the way he catches the ball, he has strong hands, just all of the stuff. And
Route running.
I mean, it's all of it. All of it. And he's going to be something to deal with for the next couple of years. As I was thinking about that game, though, do you put it more on the ineptness of the Texans' offense or San Francisco and just the turnover after turnover that kept them in the game and all that stuff?
You mean Seattle? Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I think defensively, Seattle is a really exciting team. You got a 6'3" corner out there running with the little guys. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like running.
Yes.
I think
step too.
I think that they are really good. They kind of not Legion of Boom good.
Oh,
they
I was
were
about
good.
to say it. Okay, let's not get carried away.
Yeah, no, not Legion of Boom good, but boy, they were really exciting to watch defensively.
Defense travels too. I mean, you can't always depend on offense, but defense will travel.
Yeah, and you have to start thinking about what is that division going to look like in the NFC West? Because now we'll see San Francisco up close, but we saw McCaffrey get off and do his thing. The Rams are going to be there. They haven't looked as good of late, and then the core is hurt. So that division is very interesting. That Darnold and Jigba combo is really, really a big deal. But then again, you can't turn the ball over. And again, the Texans are good defense, but you cannot turn the football over four times. Because look, any other team is gonna beat you. The Texans just good, and they goal line because they couldn't run. I thought it was ridiculous that they were at the inside of the 1 yard line and wouldn't quarterback sneak. You run the ball, then you do the rollout twice, then you do the post corner at the back of the end zone under pressure. You got to be better than that.
Well, I think that here there's a difference when in that situation. You can see the good teams from the average and the great teams in a mindset. Like the great teams, they just run that in, and they'll run it 4 times in a row. They're not throwing it. They're not playing around. We're better than you. We're going to pose our will. When you start trying to trick and do stuff like that, that speaks volumes to what you think about your team.
Unless you're Kansas City. Now, Kansas City, all kind of trickeration.
Well, yeah, and I still would submit that they're going to run that ball 2 out of 4 plays, though, even in Kansas City. And when it gets down and dirty time, again, they got Andy Reid. I mean, I'll give you that. He is the trickster. But I still say the great teams, those are the times that they establish themselves and they say, we got 1 yard and we're going to get it. And that's just it.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think a lot of things are interesting in the NFL. This is, what are we, 7 games in? 8 games in? 7, 8 games in? It is unbelievable. We're not even yet at the halfway point, but just the way this season is just, like I said, the one constant is Kansas City is back. They pitched a shutout. I think Oakland or Las Vegas ran 30 plays or something like that. It was total dominance on both sides of the football for the Kansas City Chiefs, and you got to be feeling like, wow. And now they play the Commanders without Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is out. It'll be Marcus Mariota starting, but that's the only constant. I mean, the Bills are right there, but the Bills, again, they've lost a couple. They're not looking like the team that they were. Indianapolis, I dare say they are for real.
I
They
mean,
run the ball. Daniel Jones playing well. What do you think of them?
well, I think that one, I'm shocked by the way that the AFC is shaping up. I mean, you look at the top 5 teams in the AFC: Indianapolis 1, New England Patriots 5-2, Denver Broncos 5-2, Pittsburgh 4-2, and then there's Buffalo at 4-2. After that, you got a bunch of 4-3 teams and a bunch of 3-4 teams. But that top 4 teams is really shocking that at this point in the year, they're leading. Who would have thought that New England would be leading the AFC East? Who would have thought that Indianapolis would be leading the South? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I think that you can point to each of these teams and point out flaws. I think the only team that you really, now that they're fully staffed at wide receiver, the only team that I think that you don't have a lot of questions about, although I worry about their run game, is Kansas City.
Yeah.
Everybody else, you look at Denver. Denver was scoreless for, it's no way they should have been able to come back and win it. I saw the last 2 series, right? I didn't even see it because it was over. It was 19-0 at the start of the 4th quarter. It was over. And it wasn't even that close. And I'm like, boy, here we go. We're going to hear about Jackson Dart and Scatterboo, and this is going to be a whole New York thing. And lo and behold, they came back and won the game. But you had to do that. You had to come back against a Giants team. I mean, they're not so bad, but they're not a playoff team.
Well, I would suggest that these are those character building moments for teams as well, where you're down and you're supposed to lose and you out, but you keep fighting, you keep clawing, and you find a way to win. And those are the things that can propel a team like Denver, throughout the year. So we'll see. I'm not convinced with the way that the NFL is going. I agree with you. Kansas City, I got to see it a little bit more. I mean, getting Rice back and Worthy back. I mean, that
Rasheed Rice was active.
Most teams don't get 2 players like that back in the middle of the year, and that just absolutely changes everything about that football team. But the NFL has been crazy this year in the AFC.
And I want to go back to Denver and ask you this. Are you more impressed that Denver came back or more disappointed that it took that to come back and win that game?
Well, having played in a lot of games, in college and the pros, sometimes you have those outings where things just don't go right. It's a tip ball here, it's a fumble there, it's a flag here, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation where you thought you was going to win the game easily, and now you staring defeat. But again, I look at it more from the standpoint of that shows a certain amount of resiliency, a certain amount of grit by that football team, and that's what it's going to take to win the Super Bowl. You're going to have games like that, and you're going to have games like that in the playoffs as well. But do you continue to fight? Do you stay the course? Do you do the things, and do you find a way to win? And so I tend to look at it from that perspective.
Okay, let's shift gears, talk about the NFC. NFC, who are you feeling good about? Obviously, Philadelphia was able to get a win, but who are you feeling good about?
Well, I still feel good about Green Bay. I mean, they're 4-1-1, and I still think they have a really, really good football team. I mean, San Francisco does what San Francisco does. They stay in it. They have a really good scheme. I think the coach is really, really good. Tampa Bay is going to be Tampa Bay. I think the South is not a tough road there, but you still got the teams that we expected to be there. Detroit is still in it. All of those things. So I think the NFC, obviously Dallas is still there, but I think the NFC is what we thought it would be. It's going to be a dogfight to the end.
Yeah, I think I've just about thrown in the towel on the Commanders. I think now with Jay Nix being hurt, he was not playing great when it all started.
Well, that year 2 is a serious thing for these quarterbacks, man. People talk about, that's just superstition and it's this and that. That year 2 is something serious, man, for these quarterbacks.
Yeah, the Cowboys, what, 3-3-1. I mean, he's second place in their division. So, hey, hope.
They have
Hope.
you know when you say the Cowboys are 3-3-1, that is the perfect record for them. Win a little, lose a little, tie a little. That's the Cowboys.
Right. So, like I said, man, it is a very interesting time in the NFL. Want to talk a little bit about some other things with Russell Wilson, and you had Sean Payton continuing to take shots at Russell Wilson. He just want to leave him alone. What's the deal with that, man? Why would he not leave this man alone? And it was great to see Russell Wilson come back and clap back on him.
Well, not being in that locker room, they put out a lot of money for Russell Wilson. And when it doesn't go right like that, and you feel like we paid this guy the money. And again, I'm just trying to think how Peyton is thinking. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I want to be clear about that. But when you come back and you say, let's go get this guy, and then you pay him what, $300 million, was it? What was the number?
What are you talking about? To get him from Seattle?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a lot. But it wasn't. It was before Peyton got there, obviously.
Right. But then you take the job saying, I can work with this guy and I can do things and we can win, and things just don't work out. And, I imagine from his perspective, he felt like Russell wasn't invested, but still you don't do that. That's just not professional. But Sean Payton, man, I mean, this guy is the one who had, what is it called? A
bounty gate.
A bounty gate, right?
Yeah.
So he don't give a damn, right? He don't care.
So yeah, I would never really get down with Sean Payton for the way he did Russell Wilson, because remember a few weeks ago they got on a coach for touching the player, and the coach was very apologetic, and it was a whole thing. Well, Sean Payton just demeaned a 10-time Pro Bowl quarterback like he was trash, like he was like he was being defiant or something. Like I really think that he was trying to bait Russell Wilson into doing something where they can void that contract.
Right.
And I think we talked about it at the
Always
time.
come back to the money.
But it was so amazing, the restraint that Russell Wilson showed. A lot of people at the same time.
You call it restraint. In my hood, we might call it something a little different, but okay.
Well, here's the thing. That's what I was about to say. Like, so he had it's such a totally opposite feeling at the same time. On one hand, you lose respect for him for not standing up for himself, but then you have respect for him for stepping away, keeping your paper. So it's hard to balance that, because on any given day,
I think that's where I disagree, though. I can stand up for myself and not void my paper too. Like, I ain't got to whoop your ass, but
so what do you do then? If you Russell Wilson and that man did you the way he did Russell Wilson in front of the world, what do you do?
Well,
I'm asking, what would Reggie have done?
Well, one, I'm going to react in the moment, right? I'm going to react. Now, I'm not going to punch you in the mouth, but I'm going to make sure that you know that this is unacceptable. And then, the same way that the Denver went with their campaign is the same way I'm coming with mine. The same vitriol, the same way. I'm going to match that energy. And you're just not going to treat me like that. You just ain't going to do it. Now, again, it's you make a great point. You respect it, but you don't respect it.
Right. But he wins because he keeps his money. It's almost like, this, and I've probably been in this situation more than you, because maybe the way I went to school, how you have people that will bait you, and then you react and you suffer the consequences. You see it in the football field. People will bait you, and then now normally it's just a fine, or it's a few days of bad headlines. But that guy would have lost tens of millions of dollars if he would have reacted the way that I would have reacted. And I would have been like, we both from the hood, so we were like, shit, I done made enough money, so what it is, what it is.
Yeah, right.
But then you go back and you hear guys like Vernon Maxwell. Vernon Maxwell has been making the rounds, obviously, over the last couple of years on social media. He talked about, I just saw a clip again, and I've seen him a couple of times before, where he talked about the Utah game, which ended up being his last game with the Rockets. And he said, man, I was about to be a free agent. He said, man, I left millions of dollars on the table by quitting on the Rockets in the playoffs. And you think back to now, he had another nice contract waiting for him. He probably had another, I don't even know. I don't know the
think
numbers.
about what happened with Sprewell. It was the same thing. I mean, he reacted in the way that I probably would have reacted in Golden State, but then,
So the verdict is, the final verdict on Russell. Well, I think we're both happy that he clapped back on him, right? He's like, yo, you doing 15 years later, you still doing behind the gate, bro? Because you look like a small man.
Right.
Like, I will say this, the way Russell handled it, it made Sean Payton look small, petty, and just less than. He looks less than. He loses a lot of respect. And it may not be your Russell Wilson, but and coaches tend to know who they can do that to. But there's another guy, because of his reputation, that Sean is going to do that to, and it's not going to end well. And I'll be rooting for the guy.
The only thing that I wish Russell Wilson would have did is used a few MFs and a few, I love the way he clanked back, but the hood in me say,
Yeah, because one thing about me,
but when you going home to Sierra, you pretty calm too.
Yeah, but I really believe, I would, with every part of my being, I think I would have swung on him. I really do. I would have swung on him, and
at the very least grabbed him.
Yeah, something, because
I don't know if I would have swung on him, but I would have grabbed him.
Yeah, I don't know, but because to demean that man like that, but again, in civil society, you have to say, hey man, I respect the way he played that. Checkmate. He got his money, went on to Pittsburgh, had some success. He collapsed at the end, but had some success, had a winning record, and now he's still in the league and probably got a couple more years to collect, $10, $15 million just, holding a clipboard. So, long, and I think that, again, he makes Sean Payton look less than. He looks very small and petty. So that was something that I know that I want to talk about, because, I'm more of a Russell fan than most people, because I do think, because he's kind of the way he is, that people pick on him a little bit. He's just him, man, and everybody ain't cool like that,
right? And for me, I love the way he played football. He has a great family, great story, and that's where I leave it at. As much as I wished he would have clapped back harder, it's still all good. He's a great guy. He does the right things. He goes about it the right way.
They do him. I don't know any other player, and I would have to think about, I don't know any other player that gets criticized for just about everything. Like, you're a father to the guy's kid, and you're lame. I've never seen anything quite like it. I mean, I don't understand that.
Those are such, in my mind, and I'm a principal at a school, and I see these types of things. In my mind, that's so admirable. When you take on the wife, you take on the kids, and you're going to raise them as your own. And for people to say anything other than great job and God bless you is nuts, man. And it tells what kind of society we live in, that people would somehow have a problem with that.
Well, but it's always been like that, where we're from. You know that. You're like, oh, I can't believe he wifed her. You know that. You know that the hood does that. And maybe not just the hood, but I know, like, you look at something and you're like, oh, yeah, okay.
I mean, without getting too deep, everybody done wifed her, unless you got Virgin Mary. I mean, everybody done wifed that chick.
No, I'm saying when you wife someone that ain't been wifed yet, because She
Right, but
belonged
I'm
to the
just
streets.
saying, like, come on, man. Don't act like your wife was a virgin. Come on.
Right. And
Right.
so,
And that's where I'm saying the hypocrisy comes.
right.
And
But you
that
know
man,
what we do sometimes.
yeah, and the other thing too is he has just continued from Wisconsin to Seattle to even now. That man has continued to do the right things the right way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you
And like I
just have
said,
to be appreciative of that.
yeah. So another quarterback. We talked about this a little bit last week. We talking about because I think we talking about James Franklin and talking about Tennessee had fired their coach, and I mentioned Aaron Glenn. Like, oh, could he be one and done? He got the reassurance from his owner, the owner of the Jets, not his owner, but the owner of the Jets, Woody Johnson, who instead threw Justin Fields under the bus. He was like, "Look, you can only do so much with a quarterback." That basically, I'm paraphrasing, but it's like this dude is trash.
Right.
I mean, that's a surprise. I've not seen that before. Where owners like, a team owner like, yeah, I'm with the coach. Quarterback is trash.
Well, I think it comes, these things are calculated. These, when you're a billionaire, you ain't, unless in the White House, you ain't just coming out there saying things nilly-willy, right? And so when I heard it, I thought about, okay, you hired the coach.
Right.
You signed off on that. So I'm going to stand by my guy. Somebody else went and got the quarterback. So I'm going to throw them and the quarterback under the bus.
Yeah, and again, it's a great way to get the fans off of Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
And I don't know that Aaron Glenn was bothered either way. I think coaches are in their own bubble. They're trying to win. So they don't have time to worry about all of that. They just keep their head down and keep working. But I think that is a big, big endorsement for him to buy him at least some more time. He can't
Well,
keep making.
I don't know how much time it bought him though.
If you can get the media off of you in New York, you can. I mean, at least this week for sure.
If they don't win another game, you think he survives?
Oh no! If they don't win a game, no.
What if they win one more game?
I mean, again, you don't know in this climate how much do you just want to throw away, and then I mean, you gotta. I think it's one of the deals you got to be in the building, don't you? Because you could be really devoid of talent, or you could lose the team. So say if he keeps the team, they compete hard, they just can't close the deal. And primarily because they can't get good quarterback play. Because everybody has documented how bad Justin Fields is playing. That's not a secret. So I think it's one of those things you got to be inside the building. Because we've seen coaches that you thought, okay, they'll be back. And then, we don't know the dynamics in the locker room and they're done. There's that. And then you got other coaches like Mike McDaniel that continue to have a job. And you don't know why.
Well, I think Stephen Ross, so his philosophy, he doesn't fire coaches in the middle of the year. I done paid you. We ain't making it to the playoffs. I'm not finna pay you to go home. And then now I have to renegotiate with the interim guy and give him some more money. And everybody gets a little bit more because now they're elevated. He just says, you know what? In my opinion, it's, what is it called now? Black Monday?
Yeah, that's what it is.
It'll be
so what I would do, the number one hire that I would make for the Miami Dolphins is a media relations guy. You got to sit Tua down and have some classes with him because you're talking about a guy that cannot handle the media. One week he's throwing his teammates under the bus. The next week he's throwing himself under the bus and not breeding any confidence in the fan base that he has control of the situation as a leader in that locker room. And I know he was trying to overcompensate and try to take on responsibility, but he is the polar opposite of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts does everything right. This guy seems, when he with a microphone, seems to get it wrong a lot.
Well, I think being a Dolphins fan, he didn't start getting it wrong until last year. At the end of last year when they were losing all the games. And now before last year, he was a media darling. He always said the right things. He did the right things. He married the girl and he posts pictures of his family. He does all of those things. He attends all of the functions in Miami. He's always did the right things, but that's the true measure of a man. Not what you do when things are going well, but how do you respond when things are going bad? And I think this is saying something about who Tua is. I mean, it's almost as he don't know what to do. Like he's just,
Right.
1 week it's him, and the next week it's the meeting, and the next week, and now supposedly him and Mike McDaniels have beef, and Mike McDaniels is the one who supported him, who said, I can win with this guy. He's perfect in these areas. So, it's just turned into a dog show down there. I mean, it's really
Yeah.
sad, to the point where my Sundays are just not the same.
So, yeah, and so I hear a lot of Brian Flores apologies these days. A lot of people saying, "Yep, he was right. He was right all along. Brian
Well,
Flores was right."
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think those two things are exclusive.
But you know what fans,
But I
you know
mean,
what the
that's what
fans,
fans are gonna do, and
yeah, yeah.
but I mean, it's all over Twitter. I mean, every time I go on there, they're saying everybody, the whole world owes Brian Flores. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so there's that. So NFL is going on, and we'll have to continue to keep an eye out on it. I'll be at the game Sunday, so I'll have a chance to see McCaffrey do his thing. Again, I think that it'll be tough sledding for them as an offense, but I think they'll have enough to get it done. But again, you never know. But I just don't see. And I will say this, by the way, San Francisco's defense is really banged up.
Oh,
So
that's how people get enamored with the things that they do offensively, but that defense has always been good.
and they injured, and they still held it together last time out.
Yeah.
Who they played? I forget but it was a primetime game,
A
and
good team too, yeah.
yeah. So it's one of those things. But I think, like I said, right now the biggest disappointment are the Commanders right now on the NFC side. I would, I would say they're the
Yeah.
biggest disappointment in the NFC. Biggest disappointment in the AFC, well, obviously, is the Baltimore Ravens. A lot of people picked them to go to Super Bowl. That this
Yeah.
was going to be their year to break through.
Unbelievable.
Now it looks like if they don't, this will really set Lamar back on his quest.
I can't imagine that they fire Harbaugh. First of all, he'll be in Miami if they let him go. That's number
Right.
one. And then number two, a guy that is consistently taking you to the AFC championship. I mean, he's won you 2 Super Bowls. I mean, how do you let that guy go?
Well, he won. Billick won the first.
Yeah, you're right. He won you a Super
so
Bowl. I mean, I don't know how you let that guy go.
yes, there's that. So NBA kicks off last night. Game 1 of 82 with Durant, and before the season even started, got
A
2
thriller,
years.
though. A game one is a thriller.
But even before they got started, Durant got his 2-year, $90 million extension. So he's paid. He got his.
I
his
really
money.
don't understand that. How much was he making before he got the extension?
I don't know, man. I gloss over when it comes to a lot of the contract
And it's just
stuff.
crazy how the NBA just throw that bread around, man. I mean, they just throw it around. Damn.
They got it. They
my
got it.
daddy told me, he said, son, and when I was in high school and I was having success as a football player, but I also played basketball and ran track. My dad said, son, stick with baseball, basketball. Leave that football alone.
Yeah.
And I damn sure should have listened to him on one.
That baseball, man, you make it, man. You make it for a long, long time. But
Man.
and so in basketball as well. So the Rockets game 1, losing double overtime. And I'm not, please don't take this as me saying I told you so. But on KTSU Sports Talk, Kevin Allen and I, the Silver Fox, debated about, his thing was the Rockets didn't have a closer. Like, who is your guy down the stretch when you have to have a bucket? Who is your guy? And I'm like, well, you go through Sengun, and whoever has a hot hand that night, it doesn't have to be a guy. He's like, nope, you gotta have a guy. Durant is that guy. Well, Durant last night, unfortunately, small sample size, he was not that guy. Missed a free throw that would have forced OKC to make a 3 to send the game into overtime. He calls a timeout when he didn't have one. Got lucky that the officials didn't grant him that. Had they granted him the timeout, then, a technical foul, blah, blah, blah. Then he fouls out and they lose the game in double overtime. Again, it happens. Getting to know his teammates. He had 23 last night. Şengün was the dude, 39 and 11. And I think that's how that team is going to operate. They lined up with the biggest starting lineup since 1970-1971 season. 1970-71 season. Right? So they are big. My question is going to be, and I think they'll be fine. You go up against a great defensive team. They got their rings last night. They could have closed that game out. They didn't. And then SGA got going. He showed why he was the MVP in the fourth quarter and overtime. He did his thing. But I'm excited about the Rockets just the same. Just the same. I think, it was just what it was. What are your takeaways from the opener?
One, just from a pure where are the Rockets? They're a top 3 team in the division, right? They got too much talent. You just talked about you talked about Durant. They're going to be hopefully a solid defensive team that they've always been under coach. And so they're going to be there. What you want to happen is that they establish the chemistry with the players and all of that stuff. And last night showed that they're still working on that, although they did take it to double overtime with the champion. So,
and they had the lead for all, but from the 451 point of the first quarter, almost to the end of the game, they held on to the lead, so they kind of left them off the hook. But I don't know, you're going up against the world champion, and they played like it last night, and they closed the show.
The other thing too is when you have a really good team like they have, there's usually multiple guys who can close it out for you. And I'm hoping that we know they have 2 people that can close it out for you. I'm hoping
Şengün, he did his thing down the stretch.
Right. So, we'll see if they can find another guy, because now that puts pressure on, the total defense. I mean, with those Bull teams, you knew that Jordan could close it out, right? So all of the tension was going to be on Jordan, but then he kicked it to Pip, and then he kicked it to
Hornacek or one of others, or Kerr.
Kerr. I mean, Paxson. I mean, you got those other guys who in crunch time will knock down a shot. And so I suspect at the end of the games, Durant will have the ball in his hand, and 80% of the time he has to be the person that knocks it down. But I'm thinking that the Rockets are going to have 1 or 2 other guys who will knock it down as well.
Well, Amin Thompson is going to be a major factor in all of that. I think, again, they'll be fine. Obviously, you lose your best 3-point shooter, Fred VanVleet, best career 3-point shooter.
That hurt.
But you got a little bit better perimeter shooting, obviously, with Durant. And Durant can get you a bucket almost anytime he wants to, it seems like. And he'll be fine.
My biggest question for Durant is, will he defend the way that the Rockets like to defend? They're a team that at the very heart of who they are, they want to be a defensive team.
Yeah, and that was one of my concerns about getting rid of like Dylan Brooks and Green to an extent. But, but I think all in all good. It's all good. They'll be fine. They'll beat up on Detroit Friday.
They're going to start calling you a Rocket hater now.
Yeah, but I did get excited eventually about the acquisition of Kevin Durant. I did. I mean, I did. I was not sure about the trade, but okay. I mean, so we'll see. Golden State did what they did last night. No LeBron for a while. I think he'll be generally, and again, this will be a quote that'll haunt me if it didn't come out right. But I think he'll be, in general, a non-factor moving forward. It feels like this is the end. But, last night, Luka did work, and so did Reeves. It wasn't enough against Golden State. I'm always going to watch Steph and see what they have. The NBA is on tonight, and so we there'll be games every night from now on, so it'll be fun to get started. But the
Let me
other
ask you
thing,
this question, and it'll be a two-part question. Reasonably speaking, do you think the Lakers have a chance to win the NBA championship?
no, not at all.
So then why is LeBron still playing?
I don't know if you saw the Jordan interview last night. These guys love the game, man. It's not like football. And then you had guys that would gladly play for years if they weren't banged up.
Yeah,
You know what I
Jordan
mean?
said he wish he could take him a magic pill.
Yeah.
Give me
And
one
and
more shot.
I believe he meant that with all his soul.
And I sure would like to see it too. I ain't
Right.
lying to you.
Right.
That
I
was
mean,
must-see TV.
he can get 8 a game.
Right now.
He can
Right
get
now.
80. He had to improve his three-point shooting.
Yeah.
But no, but I get it. I think LeBron is a basketball lifer. He's there with his son. That's his world, man. And see, we think about these things like, bro, this is what they are born to do. This is
Right.
all they. That's almost like a musician telling a musician, "Hey, man, you can't play songs and can't sing songs and can't do music anymore." That's just what he does.
And
And the thing about it, people stop because they can't. That's why they stop, not because they don't want to.
I agree with you wholeheartedly as I'm just sitting here and thinking about what you were saying. And, even though, I had a great college career and, I played in the league for 4 years and all of that. And man, just one more slant route, one more go route.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just one more roar that crowd, one more first down, all of that stuff. And
And the other part of this, and you can speak to this too. Football is a game whether you are cut or not, or injured or not. Say if you out for the year, right? Football is a game either you in or you out. And when you're out, you're totally out.
Yeah.
You're not a part of it. You can be around it. Your fellas love you, but we got to go to war, man. We'll holler at you later. You're
Man,
out.
you're
And that is such
you're dismissed very, very quickly.
and
Very
it's not
quickly.
even on purpose.
Nah.
It's just the nature of it. And I think that is what
It's the
I don't care.
warrior mentality. We dealing with the people who go in the war.
Right.
If you got to stay back with the women and children, all right.
You hurt. It ain't your fault. You hurt. It goes with it. We got you. We playing for you, but we playing.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it hard whether you play football in high school, college, the pros. That's the hardest thing I think it is to walk away from. You're in, and when you're in, you're really in. You're immersed in this bubble, and when you're out, you are totally out.
I'll tell you this. I remember my last year, and
And you didn't know it was your last year, though, right?
well, I had the knee surgery, and I thought I would be able to come back, and the knee just didn't cooperate, so you have to make some decisions. But I remember that first 2 weeks. I mean, I was I'm not gonna over exaggerate and say I was in a dark place because I was never in a dark place, what we would consider that place,
Right.
but a really, really sad place of damn. And then you're in Houston and you see the news clips and they're playing on ESPN and just 30 days prior to you were in the news clip and now you're not there. The only thing that helped me get through it is 2 weeks after I got hurt, my college coach called me and said, "Hey, I heard what happened." He got the head coaching job at Delaware State. And he said, "Hey, do you want to coach some receivers for me?" And so I was able to transition right into the game. And so it still wasn't the same. And I still had challenges dealing with it. But the fact that on Saturday, I was fighting for a win really helped me get through it. And, I think people take for granted how difficult that is to leave the game and,
Because
and not play again.
you leaving everything. You leaving a lifestyle. You leaving your social life. You're leaving your brothers. I mean,
And
in a
I
sense.
think more than lifestyle, more than all of that, you're leaving the competitive nature. You're leaving the blood, sweat, and tears. You're leaving the getting up and the going to bed and feeling sore and all of the stuff that you felt since, for me, age 6. The hardest thing for me was, and this is when, I had coached and I was a high school head coach and did all this stuff. And I remember the day that I knew it was time and football had run its course. I had been going to football practice for almost 39 years. I mean,
Right.
from little league to playing to coaching. And I remember walking off the field and we lost the playoff game. And I heard myself as I was walking off the field say, damn, I'm glad this over with.
Mm.
And that's when I said, I can now reasonably walk away from this with no regret, knowing that I've given everything. And I think that's one of the things that really haunts guys at times is they don't get a chance to give everything, or they feel like there's some more there that they can give.
Yeah, and I'm sure you have thoughts that, okay, my career could have been much more
Of
productive.
course.
I was that
It's
dude.
Haywood's fault.
You said it all the time. I never came out of the game.
Hey,
You like,
man,
I
he
was
used to
Devin's
look,
only
man.
Reggie.
Let me tell you this story, man. And I think we talked about this before. So we would be at practice. I'm a rookie. I watched Haywood play at North Carolina State. I watched him play with the Oilers. We had a physical build, all of the stuff. And we would be at practice, and I was just one of those guys. First, I just looked up to him, and then he's so cool, right? He's such a
Yeah.
good guy. And during practice, he would like, hey, man, go get your 3 reps. I bet. Hey, man, on Tuesday, hey, man, go get your 4 reps, man. Come on, I'm going to step out. You go stand. I bet. Hey, man, you going to be ready? Come Friday, I got you, man. I got you. Game day, that boy act like he don't know me, man. Like he never met me, man. I'm like, hey, Wood, at least let me get one player blocking, man. Come on, bro.
He said, unlike Drew or EG, he never came out.
Man, never.
Right,
Never.
right. And that's that old school. But I can tell you, man, and I never played on the pro level, and I really didn't play college, right? But I can tell you, I can go into TSU locker room sometimes. Because look, I never really left the game. It's not the same. It's not anyway the same. But and for those of us who did not play on the higher levels, you really look at it like, oh, I really could have, if I wasn't a dumb 17-year-old, 18-year-old, whatever. But you can have those thoughts, and you can reasonably rationalize what that path could have looked like, just like I'm sure you could. But I'm around the game, obviously doing radio, still deeply involved in football, as you are in a lot of ways off the field. So the game is with us for life, right?
Yes.
But I can tell you, the first time you smell that burned grass in the summertime, it's like you never forget that.
Man.
And I can walk into a locker room and the funk, it's a unique funk. It's
Yes,
tape.
it is.
You got tape on the floor. It's a certain kind of funk with the
It's sweat, it's blood,
yeah,
sweat,
all
and
of
tears.
that.
That's
And
what
I
the funk
tell
is.
you,
The funk
it
is blood, sweat, and tears. That's
Right.
exactly what it is.
And you smell it, and I don't care what locker room it is, they all smell the same. And you get that feeling. And I'm sure you've been in probably Alabama State or other locker rooms. You're
Without
like,
question.
yep, that smell is that smell.
And you love that smell.
Yeah, you do.
It in some ways defines you. If you know that smell, then I consider you a brother.
Yeah, it's a real thing, man. And I love the game. And I think that there's so many lessons you can learn in football. I always say, look, you can learn lessons in any team sport, but it's something about the danger and the physicality that forces you to pay a level of attention that you don't have to in other sports. You can play soccer and you can be intense, but if you are not intense in football, you get your head knocked off. You can get hurt. And I had broken
it's
bones.
one of those things where You know, it's you make such a great point. Like if if you're playing baseball, you might get knocked down, right?
Right.
And there may be things that happen that knock you down. But in football, you get knocked down.
Yeah.
And the
And I don't care
question
who you are.
whenever you get knocked down is, are you going to get up?
Right.
And football pronounces that life lesson to you. Like that first time you get hit for real, you got to make a decision. Am I going to lay here or I'm going to get up? And in my life,
And do it again. And do it
through
again.
things,
Right.
yes. And so that's when in life, going through things, it's been that mentality of I can get knocked down because I
Right.
got back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a real thing. And I try to,
it's a real thing.
I try to convey that to different people in different ways that, like I said, it's a moment after you take a big hit or you get knocked down or
Amen.
it's a split second. You got to figure out,
Yeah.
okay, where am I? Am I
Right.
hurt? It's like a car
And is
wreck.
this
Okay,
worth it?
am I bleeding? Okay, I can move. Now you
And
got to
is
get up
this
and play
worth
it
it?
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
got,
is this worth it? You got to ask that question. Is this worth it?
and you got to do it 40 seconds from now. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got days to think about it. After you get knocked down and once you get up, you got 35 seconds and it's happening again.
And
And so,
everybody know when they see it. And you take that first hit, everybody watch you, and you see him start. All right,
ooh,
everybody like, all right, he ain't that guy. Next,
Yeah.
he ain't getting up.
and we all played with basketball players that took that lick and then they stopped showing up
Yeah,
for practice.
they don't want it. They don't
Yeah, that
want
ain't for them.
it.
Yeah.
No, they don't want it.
And so like I said, it's I think that we kind of share that love affair with football in that way. And it's just it's nothing like it, man. It's just, and for me, when I was, believe it or not, I was 85 pounds. I couldn't hardly bench the bar my freshman year of high school. And you actually see tangible results of the hard work that you put in. You actually see your body start to transform. You actually start to see things slow down for you so you can make. I mean, it's we can go on about that, but love the game of football. And if you take away the violence, and it looks like that's game's moving in that direction with the 7-on-7.
I can't believe that's the case.
I think maybe we'll have to see. Probably not in our lifetime, but it's leaning that way. That
Well, good.
sooner rather
as long
than
as
later.
it ain't in my lifetime.
Right. And they'll look at us like some sort of barbarian. I mean, we already look at the game and be like, oh, man, you
But
guys.
isn't that how you want to be looked at as a warrior?
I mean, that's part of it. I just think, I think that's really part of it. Now, I do think that the level of violence in the game now is underrated because I think them guys, they fast and they bring, but everybody's bigger and stronger.
No, I cannot agree with that. In any stretch of the
Man, look. Okay, let me name a guy. Okay, look at Daniil Hunter for the Texans of Will Anderson. These dudes look like Evander Holyfield out there,
But
man.
they
And they
don't hit.
bringing it.
They don't hit. They make tackles.
Well, they hit.
They ain't running through nobody and
Well,
keep going.
it's certain things they
grabbing
cannot
you
do.
and pulling you down. They ain't thumping. They ain't.
It's some thump in there now.
I mean, let me back up before these haters come out and start saying ageism and all of this
Right.
stuff. So I don't want to ever take away from these guys.
Yeah,
But,
they big and
but
fast
there
and
is
stronger,
a
man.
difference when you can, my favorite, more than scoring touchdowns, more than catching a bomb, as a receiver, the highlight of my career is that crackback block.
Yeah.
When they
Right.
don't see you coming.
Right.
And
Can't
you
do that.
put everything. You go into jail, you do a crackback block now.
I know. And I think that's what's changed, right? If you want to talk about, because I think the violence is still there. I think the intent is different. The intent is much different. Look, they didn't give a damn if they knocked your ass out. Like,
That's
they
what I'm
high-fiving each
supposed
other.
to do.
That's
why
it.
I'm here.
Right. You think Ronnie Lott laid there and he in tears and going into a prayer circle for a cat he just knocked out? So it's
And that
different
man
in
thought
that way.
man every night Ronnie Lott dreamed of sending somebody to the hospital.
I mean, that's just what it was. The way we talked about it, what we wanted to do. The coaches would encourage you to do that. And I
Come
get
on,
it, man. I
Come
get
on,
it.
man.
Like, people got to live their life and all of that. And I get
I
it.
just think that again, again, I don't want to take away from these guys. They're supreme athletes, toughest sport in the world, all of the stuff.
Yeah.
But they don't hit, they tackle, man.
It's some stuff. I have to see some clips. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to see a couple clips. It ain't
Come
quite
on.
the same.
Do you think? Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, do you
It ain't
think
quite the same, but there's some guys that could thump.
for every one you send me, I'm gonna show you 5 just like
I
that,
mean,
but
I was
10
there.
times worse.
I was there. I remember all of that. I mean,
Yeah.
in my other favorite sport, and this is what I knew I couldn't do this. Boxing. First time I was a little kid, I was taller than the kid that was two or 3 years older than me, but I was taller. So I'm thinking, I'll whoop him. He's a little dude. Man, that little dude stepped around, a little jab, hit me so hard upside my head. I said, nah. When I got up, I'm like, nah, this ain't for me. Not hit me in my face. But I look, you know, I'm old when all I do is I look at old clips of boxing. Man. I look at old clips of boxing every day. And now in my algorithm, they just come up.
Yeah.
James Toney, Alexis Arguello, Aaron Pryor. All
I
of these,
can tell
they
you,
just pop up.
I bet you, well, let me try to guess which one do you watch the most?
Which boxer do I watch the most?
Which boxing clip? If you could just watch one boxing clip, what clip that would be?
Wow.
I'm just knowing you, I would say that Hearns Hagler fight.
Well,
is
that
something
comes up a lot. That comes up a lot. You know what? You're not going to know this, right? You're not going to know this. There was a boxer named Mike McCallum. He was they called him the body snatcher. And he fought a dude named Donald Curry. Curry was the guy, right? And by the way, Mike McCallum beat Julian Jackson, who was one of the most feared knockout guys
Right.
ever. And Mike McCallum caught Donald Curry so clean, it's almost like he almost knocked his head up. And there's one of Sugar Ray Leonard where he put a 3-punch combination together. So what's your favorite fight of all time? We didn't even plan on talking about this. What was your favorite fight of all time?
I would say that Hagler Hearns, man. And what's the two? It's Hagler and Hearns, and then they had like 3 straight going to ring.
You talking about Arturo Gatti and Mickey Wood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I look at that all day, Doc. I can look at.
This is the one, and I'm so deep in it, I could give you rounds. Go back and look at Norton, Larry Holmes, 15th round. Go look at the 10th round of Holyfield Bowl 1. Go look at the 10th round of Jose Luis Castillo and the boy that died on the motorcycle. Oh God, dog, what's his name? The 10th round of that. I'll send them all to you. I watch them all the time. And like I said, man, it was such a. I mean, we literally lived. Our childhood was in the golden era of boxing.
Yeah.
Now we missed prime Ali.
Yeah.
But I saw Ali fight.
Yeah, I saw Ali. I saw him lose to Spinks and then beat Spinks.
Yeah, we both 6 months apart or whatever. So, but like if I go back in time, the one event that I would want to go to, if I could go back in time to one sporting event, 1971 Madison Square Garden, Ali Frazier won. I got it. Look, I got it right back here. You see that? That's Ali getting knocked down by Frazier. I love Joe Frazier. So, what if you had to go back in time? What is the one event you would go to?
One event.
Any event, because for me, man, it's boxing. I'd have been to Super Bowl. I'd have been to MLB playoff games and Western Conference Championships in basketball, Final Fours, a couple of those.
I would say the Thriller in Manila, man.
Yeah.
I would say, the nostalgia behind all of that and all of the pageantry and all of that, man, and just for the way that fight went, man, I might pick the Thriller.
Yeah, the reason why I wouldn't is because at that time, both of those guys had already lost,
Right.
and it was kind of the end. It was kind of the end for Frazier. The perception was it was over for Frazier, Ali on the downside, right? But that 71, you had two undefeated heavyweights, former champions. And the only reason why Ali lost the championship, he got stripped because of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the stuff. And the one guy I heard, and I know we got to wrap this up, but the one guy I heard talk about it was Butch Lewis. Butch Lewis talked about that fight in a way that it made me sweat. Because you got to see it, man. You got to see the documentary. It was about the Thriller in Manila. No, it was about the first fight. But then he also talked about the Thriller in Manila as well in that fight. And it's so riveting. You got to go back and watch that. That was an HBO documentary. I promise you, you won't regret it. Before we get out of here, real quick, World Series. You talked about off air. We talked about Ohtani, Shohei Ohtani, with one of the greatest performances in baseball history for a playoff game.
Well, I don't know if you can say one of the. I think you have to say the. When you hit 3 home runs, that puts you in the top 10 right there, right?
Yeah.
Automatically you get into the top 10. And then to throw 10, pitch 6 in the third and then 10 strikes, that has to be, and I would even go so far as to say in the top, at least 5 performances of all time in the playoffs. I mean, I don't know if people are really giving him the due that he needs, that he deserves based on what he did.
Baseball is such a weird sport in that you follow your team. You don't really follow baseball. Most people don't follow baseball.
Right.
You probably watch 50 Yankee games, or portions of.
Yes.
I checked in on probably 65 Astros games, right? Just, checked in, looked at the box score, make sure. If I didn't watch the game, part of all of it. So, but you don't watch the whole game. Not anymore. It used to be like that back in the day.
Yes.
It's not like that anymore. But I think that in him, the language barrier, even though he can speak English, he doesn't. I think that hurts it a little bit. Because you look at Cal Riley and the big dumper and all the love he got this year, and you look at Aaron Judge and all the love he gets. He's a modern day lumberjack and all that. And I think that somehow, some way, being on the West Coast too, he done most of his games don't start until 9:00 local time. So you can see them, but a lot of people don't see a lot of him as much as you would if he played for the Yankees or the Red Sox.
And he's not a charismatic player either.
Right.
Yeah.
No flair.
All of those things. But again, I just think to be able to do that, man, it's hard enough to hit a single and to hit 3 home runs. I mean, that's been done before. Obviously, Reggie Jackson has done it, et cetera, in the playoffs and all of that. But, man, to back it up the way that he did on the mound was crazy.
Unbelievable, man. And George Springer, 3-run homer. And you got to root for him. He's not one of ours, but he did what he was the MVP in 2017. But he did it for us.
One thing you can say about George Springer, he clutch.
He's clutch, for real.
Yeah,
and after they kind of cheered the fact that he got hit in the knee in Seattle, and then he gets to send him home. And now Toronto has a home field advantage. Real quick, 30 seconds, give me your breakdown. Or what do you see? Who's going to win the World Series?
I just think that Los Angeles just has too much. They're going back. They know what they expect, all of the things. I think they win it probably 4-2.
I'll go the other way. And I think that Dave Roberts, they'll choke it away. And I would love to see Toronto win just because, Dodgers, Yankees, all the haters out there, Boston, I'd rather see George get it. I'd rather see George. So I'll pick Toronto in 6.
Do you believe in that pick, or you're just picking them from a hate?
To be honest with you, I don't know the pitching staff for Toronto. I will say that. And I know that the Dodgers have to be heavily favored. But the Dodgers also do Dodgers stuff. like when they lost to us, and they thought it was, to try to, blame us. But at the end of the day, y'all didn't produce offensive. You can talk about trash cans all you want. Y'all didn't produce. Y'all didn't get it done.
Well,
y'all couldn't hit at home or away.
Well,
So stop.
I would say that nobody was able to hit at home or away until they started beating on garbage cans.
There
That's
you
a
go.
whole nother story.
The Dodgers, if they can get swept, I'll be all fine with that. So,
Yeah.
hey, man, final thoughts real quick. Let's close it out.
Magic City Classic is this week, Alabama State versus Alabama A&M. It is by the numbers the most attended game, but I think that people really appreciate the pageantry that goes along with the Magic City Classic. And tomorrow, First Take is going to be there, and I wish I was in Birmingham, Alabama, to see the Bama State Hornets beat Alabama A&M.
This would have been the year I could have gone. Didn't think about it. It could have been the year I could have gone. Because every other weekend I'm playing, we got a bye week this week at Texas Southern. 61-10 win for homecoming, not unexpected. And bye week, and then we get the Braves of Alcorn State next week. So we'll talk more about that. And we'll do a recap of the Magic City Classic. Hopefully Eddie can come up with a win, and we'll get into that. Before we get out of here, hey, man, thank you so much as always. Really appreciate the conversation. We went off on a path, but I'm glad we did. It was a great conversation. I want to remind folks, 832-941-6614 and the Sports Talk with Devan Wade group page on Facebook. And, of course, please subscribe to the YouTube channel at The Devan Wade. Thank you so much for participating. I have some swag for you guys, some coffee mugs for you guys to buy, some T-shirts for you to buy. And it's just a way to sustain us and help us as we want to do more things. And some of these things have costs attached to them, and we want to be able to address some of those things. So we'll talk about that in the near future. Thank you so much. And until next time, please remember these 4 things.
Number 1, I don't do no favors after 6 o'clock in the evening. 2, I ain't got no money. 3, I'm not harboring any fugitives from justice. And 4, bye.
This has been the Sports Talk with Devan Wade podcast. Remember, you can follow him on Twitter at Wade's Word. Thank you for listening.